Hello and welcome to the VR Skipped Box Yeet tutorial. In this video I'm going to go over how to do it, as well as some of the common mistakes you can make while doing it. So the first thing you need to know is that this trick is going to work no matter what level your suck cannon is. If you're running New Game Plus, if you're running any percent, it doesn't matter. This trick is going to work if you do the setup correctly. Now the next thing you need to know is that Ratchet holds different weapons in different ways. So you can see with the shock cannon, he holds it with two hands up. With the whip, he has both of his hands down. And with the hyper shot, you can see he's got one hand up and one hand down. And another thing to note about this is that if you swap it very quickly, you can end up with Ratchet holding guns the wrong way. So now he's holding the whip the way he would hold the shock cannon with both hands up. And this is more prone to happen on PS2, but for safety, I would recommend, no matter what version you're playing, you want to set up your quick select wheel at the top left with all weapons that he holds the same way. Just like this. This is the exact setup that you would have in any percent. So now, no matter how many times you quick switch, his hands don't move. He holds them all the same way. Now, let's get into the trick. The first thing you need to do is you need to suck up this box. But you need to stop it in the middle of the suck animation. So you need to swap the weapons before it gets to you, but after it starts sucking up. This is pretty difficult to do, so what I recommend is walking backwards as you suck it up. This will give you a little bit more leeway. See, if I was just standing here, it would have become suck cannon ammo, but because I was walking backwards, it helped me get the swap in time. So now what you're going to do is you're going to swap to the suck cannon while farther away, so that the box moves a little bit farther, gets a little bit smaller, and this will make it so that after you reset, it will move faster. Okay, so the reason we want the box to move faster is because it will make the trick more consistent. Think about it this way. The difference between 5 speed and 11 speed is huge. The difference between 50 speed and 56 speed is not that big. So it will make the trick more consistent, as well as it will make you fly faster through the air. Now what you're going to do is you're going to line up on the box, and I like to aim at this little area here, right where the light part of the floor ends, in the corner there. Once you're lined up, you're going to double jump and tap triangle in the air to pull out the suck cannon. If you don't get the launch, that means you mistimed your triangle tap. This is by far the hardest part of the trick, so don't be surprised if you don't get it right away. If you do it correctly, it'll launch you in the direction of the VR training course. Now, when you miss the ending platform to the left like this, that simply means that Ratchet was angled too far to the left before you did your double jump. So to fix this, just turn Ratchet a tiny bit to the right. Remember that small angle changes make huge differences over long distances. So now let's look at some common mistakes. So the first common mistake is when lining up, you'll turn the camera, but you won't turn Ratchet. So here I turn the camera a bit, but he's still aiming his nitro launcher there, way off to the left. So the way to remedy that is to move Ratchet slightly before you jump. So you can see his nitro launcher is aiming way off to the left, but if I move a little bit while holding strafe, it'll be centered again. Another common mistake that you can make is, while practicing the trick, you'll get the hyper shot in your hand like you see here. And so then when you go to retry the trick, you might be holding the hyper shot before the suck cannon if you get in a configuration like this. And again, the hyper shot he holds with one hand up and one hand down, so you don't want this to happen. Make sure you always overwrite the hyper shot when you retry the trick. Another thing I'd like to clear up, it doesn't really matter where you stand on the box. You'll get the yeet even if you stand on the right side, back side, left side. It really doesn't matter. You probably saw in the last clips, I wasn't ending my glide at the right time. That's another very common mistake you can make. So the cue I usually use for that is about a quarter second, maybe even less than that, after you pass through the wall in the previous section of the course. You want to stop gliding right then. That will usually land you right on the ending platform. One last thing that can go wrong when you do the yeet, you want to start gliding right away, but sometimes Ratchet just won't start gliding right away like that. And the reason that happens is because you do a single jump off the box instead of gliding. And when you do a single jump and hold X, Ratchet takes a very long time to start gliding, as you can see there. So if that happens, just press X a little bit later after the box hits you, and then you won't do the single jump. And that's it for the tutorial. If you have any questions, make sure to ask in the Ratchet & Clank speedrunning Discord. But just keep in mind, 99% of the mistakes you make are going to be with the triangle input after you double jump.